we're back at it. Oh, pause for
Did
a
I
second.
lose you?
Well, yeah, we're
All
on
right,
the
we're
intro.
good.
What are we doing today?
There we go. All right, we're good. Now we're good. We're ready to rock. Let's go.
Oh, God. All right. We have Coach Simonetti, Dover High School, DC. Has been head coach. Really a guy with a ton of experience. Coach D, give us a good intro. I know you know him well.
Originally a Jersey guy, right? Made the move down to Delaware a couple years ago. Has worked with Dover High School, which is one of the bigger schools down there. Offense, defense. I mean, he's kind of just like a jack of all trades. But look forward to hearing kind of the perspective as to what kind of high school football gets played down there a little bit, and kind of some of the things that they're dealing with that a lot of other coaches are dealing with. So excited to hear what he's going to say.
Coach, welcome to the podcast. What's going on?
Coach, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on, Coach. Appreciate you, buddy.
Since Coach D did such a poor job on your background.
Terrible. Oh, come on, man.
See, this is why I have to do the intros. Okay, no, I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
I want to get into the
I'm
nitty-gritty.
just teasing you. Coach, give us a background, your coaching background, playing background, so everybody understands.
Sure. So this is like just completed my 18th year coaching between two states, New Jersey and now Delaware. And this is my 8th year in Delaware. Can't believe it's been that long already.
Yeah, it don't seem like it's been.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Feels like I just left Jersey yesterday. But I love it down here. Great people down here, lots of land. Everything's cheaper than what it would be in North Jersey, man. So, but yeah, I mean, I've worked under a lot of great people, a lot of really good schools, especially New Jersey. I started out with Gary Luciani at Elmwood Park High School. Way back in like 2006 or something like that. Coach Luce is the man. He taught me everything, a lot about everything. With him, he started me. I was coaching freshman football with him. Well, he was a varsity head coach, but he started me with the freshman football program. That was the best thing that could ever have happened to me. I don't, Derek, you had mentioned I would be like a jack of all trades. I don't think if I don't coach freshman football those first couple of years, I'm not a jack of all trades, because you learn a little about everything. And
You're handling everything. You're the guy.
Yeah. And they all look to you, man. So, but except when the parents complain, I point them to the head coach.
Yeah.
But, no, I went with him to Mount Olive too for a couple of years, and obviously worked with his son Jarrett, became one of my good friends. And through those guys, I made a lot of other connections with the Butler football program, with Jason Luciani, who's now the head coach there, and Coach Mickens, legendary coach up in North Jersey, man, long-time assistant between there and West Milford. Coach Jimmy Matsakis, they're all run and shoot guys, and learned a lot of football coaching with, being around those guys, coaching with Luciani's. Then I went home after Mount Olive for about 2 years to Passaic Valley High School. That's where I went to school. And I coached with my high school coach, my senior year, Bill Johnson, former defense coordinator at Montclair State. And, he's a defensive dude, man. And I learned, a lot about him. Not a lot about him, but a lot about
His
defense,
stuff.
I guess you could say, his stuff. And he gave me my first shot as a coordinator, to be an offensive coordinator. And that's something I really appreciate about him. Then I went back to Mount Olive. Then I went back to PV when Coach Parlavecchio took over, Chet Parlavecchio, who also coached me in high school. And, this is a dude who, was coaching, playing in the NFL, played at Penn State, room with Mike Munchak. Obviously through Bill and Chet, made even more connections.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt at that point, man, I was 10 years coaching. I felt, making the move out of state because I was single at the time, and looking for a head coaching opportunity out of state because I wasn't getting anything in New Jersey. Would probably be the best move for me. And lo and behold, I applied at Dover High School to be a head coach, and they gave it to me. And I did that for 5 years. I moved down here, met my wife, married, had our first child. And then Dover, after 5 years, went in another direction. So I spent the last 2 years, minus this past year, the 2 years before that, Smyrna High School. Smyrna's like a powerhouse down here.
Yeah, big
Won
time.
a state title with them in 2022. Coach Judy's their head coach, great guy, great staff, really good football coaches there. And then this past year, I came back to Dover High, got my old teaching job back, and here I am. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Full circle. Wow.
Yeah.
That's it. What's it like going back to a place that you've been head coach before, and coming back as a coordinator? And is that a totally new staff, or is a guy that was with you before that's the head coach there?
So the head coach here now is Coach Knapp, a former Wesley coach. They're a long-time offensive coordinator and head coach when Coach Drass had passed. But he actually just resigned and retired, I should say, a couple days back. So it's an opening again. But the staff here was actually, one thing attractive about coaching here this past year, a lot of the people on staff, I coached the first time around. So that was really cool to me. Makes me feel like I, did my job a little bit.
Yeah.
And that was so freaking cool, actually, because now these guys are like a couple of my best friends. So, this is, where I got my head coaching opportunity down here in Delaware. My family, my wife's side of my family's from this community. So it's like home here. Smyrna's like home too, a little bit. It was weird at first, but, bottom line is I'm here to help kids. So, and a lot of these kids I coached this past year actually coached their siblings the first time around. So, it was, I got over those feelings quick, man. I just wanted to win from there on out and help in any way I could.
What was it like transitioning, going from Jersey coaching in New Jersey to Dover, talent wise, expectations, how they conduct things down there? What was a difference?
I don't think there was much difference between kids and talent. I mean, talent's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's more so, I think, the style of football played down here as opposed to New Jersey.
Oh.
So when I first got down here, I'll speak from a defensive standpoint. When I'm, scouting offenses, right? Everyone's still old school down here. Wing T, pro I, two backs. Smyrna was the only team that I saw, other than us too, because we did spread, but Smyrna was like full on spread, up tempo, ball out quick, RPOing, you name it, spreading. And I saw more of that in New Jersey than anything, especially coaching in Bergen County and Passaic County.
Yep.
West Jersey was more like down here in Delaware, which is pretty cool. It's Wing T, right? West Jersey, Mount Olive, right?
Morris County is still that Wing
Randolph, right? Yeah. Old school football. So coming down here, it was like coaching in West Jersey.
Yeah.
That has now changed down here in Delaware.
Yep. Because you got the middle towns in the world swinging it, right? And they're getting
now the spread has now come down here, and it's, mostly everyone spread the run still, but the spread is down here, and they're doing some form of football with like 10 personnel or 11 personnel with that H-back in there, looking to run split zone or whatever, or the power, series with counter. But I found that to be interesting that, West Jersey and Delaware were the same at that point in time, and they hadn't yet caught up to North Jersey with Bergen and Passaic County.
Right.
Everyone spread, but we're now spread central down here, especially since they realigned the state. We only see one Wing T team.
Yeah. And that's the same thing. Like, not to cut you off, we work with Coach Blum over at Middletown a ton with some of the stuff we do, and he's chucking. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a good dude. He's chucking it all over, and he is. And he's done a lot of things coming up here to Jersey to scrimmage teams. He's got now Red Bank Catholic coming down there week 0. I mean, he's looking to kind of, make Delaware football, something where people are like, oh, hell, like that. They actually, like, you know what I mean? Like, kind of the forgotten little area down there, kind of get grouped in with all the Maryland schools or the South Jersey schools, the Philly area type. But now, making that push to be like, hey, there's something down here. It's not like recruits don't come, he puts out a good amount of guys to some of those schools, but it's only going to take one big guy really to kind of make the whole, thing go. And now you see the University of Delaware moving to Division I. I mean, you
Yeah.
know, big time ball. That's going to start changing some things. I think it's just an attractive place to be.
It is. And, Coach Blum nailed it a little bit. I think Delaware's under-recruited. There's a lot of hidden gems here. I mean, let's start with Middletown's Chris Godwin, wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah,
Middletown High School. Stud. Was on my fantasy team the past couple years. You know what I'm saying? So, I coached a kid here at Dover named Jordan McGee. He was a linebacker at Temple. He's entering the NFL draft this year. Like, I've had agents call me. Kid's a dude. Debo Williams, Smyrna, right? Linebacker at South Carolina right now. He's killing it. Special teams man, and now he's getting, looks on defense. He's like becoming one of the dudes down in South Carolina. No doubt will probably enter the NFL draft in a very
definitely one of the most underrated areas in terms of recruit wise, right?
Big time.
Because there's just not that many. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of one of those, like, am I gonna spend time when I could be else? You know what I'm saying? To go down there and I only got to see these, whatever. But now that the talent level's coming up, and like I said, I do think that Delaware transitioning is really going to help the area itself.
Big time, and it attracts families because of the homes down here are beautiful. You got a lot of land down here, and the one thing I noticed about high school football down here, and this is evident up in North Jersey in certain places, not in a lot of places, especially places that have seen losing a little bit. There's a lot of community buy-in down here in Delaware, especially on Friday night. That's
what I said. Friday Night Lights, like you're seeing communities come out. Which
big time, man.
I mean, look, you still see a little bit of it, and obviously we've kind of transitioned. I'm down south now in the Shore Conference, which is really basically, to me, Morris County, but down here, right by the beach, is what it is. It's kind of the same thing to me. A lot of the same principles and things like that. But you're seeing a lot of areas where when that community buy-in is there, and we kind of talk about it all the time, you know what I mean? It's hard to get a community buy-in when you're at a Don Bosco or when you're at a, you know what I mean? That's a different bit of a buy-in. And it's kind of one of those things that we see maybe lessening or you're kind of losing a little bit. So to hear that down there, that's kind of part of it is really cool.
Yeah, I know. So I've been here at Dover and now at Smyrna. Smyrna's an extremely tight-knit community. And, man, it's like Green Bay, man. Like on Friday nights, the town shuts down, and they're all at, the Eagles' Nest there, as they call it, at the football field watching Friday Night Lights. And, the big rivalry here is Smyrna and Middletown when those two teams play. Man, they pulled in a couple thousand fans in both stadiums before.
You're talking about seeing some dudes on the field, too.
Yeah, you are seeing some dudes, a lot of well-coached dudes, too. And
that's big.
It's just it's an awesome sight, man, down here on Friday nights, just all the way around. I can speak for south of the border, or the bridge, I should say. I know there's not a lot of night games that happen above the canal because teams just don't have lights, but they're working on that.
That's interesting too, Dave, right? Listen, how many Saturday games do you see now in Bergen County still, right? Like that stuff's all pretty much right. It's all pretty much Friday Night Lights.
PV just got lights, I heard.
Lights and turf.
Yeah, what the heck, man?
Listen, Mount Olive might be one of the best places to play in the state with the stadium they got, the new Jumbotron. I mean, it's a whole different level. You're starting to see a lot of these places like really kind of up the ante in terms of facility wise. I mean, like Dave was at Indian Hills, like that was a great spot. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's a real nice spot.
A lot of stuff.
I would say Mount Olive is the best facilities football.
Everybody's got to rival the roof at Union City, but
yeah,
that's its own.
I haven't seen that, so I don't want to make that such of a bold statement. But you are correct; they are one of. It's a beautiful, beautiful stadium. And another thing about Delaware compared to Jersey. There's not a lot of schools down here as opposed to Jersey.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of schools, but, Jersey's like, before I left anyway, had the most densely populated area is North Jersey. Of course.
Right? You have people everywhere.
Yeah.
And now since we've moved south, that's one of the things that we discuss a lot is we see it's a lot of, schools are bigger because they're more regional schools, right? Like you're up north, every town has a high school. Every town has a high school. Every town has you come down here, you got like 3-4 towns that go to one high school or they're within the same district. You're seeing group 4s, group 5s. bigger schools where now you can pull more kids to your school, and there's not as many privates that are trying to pick the same dudes.
Yeah. The big thing down here that just is a trend lately, might be up in Jersey too, is the opening of charter schools. And because we don't have many Catholic schools down here, Salesianum, St. Mark's. I think there's a couple more, St. Elizabeth.
They're sure as hell not the powerhouses of football by any means down there like they are in Jersey.
No, it's not on a level of a St. Joe's or Bergen Catholic or a Bosco. But I mean, Sally's would be the closest to that.
Yeah,
I actually relate Salesianum to a Del Barton up in by you guys.
Yeah,
and look, and you see Del Barton this year, state finals, Bergen Catholic. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So the rise of those types of schools post-COVID have changed.
Well, I think one of the big things that catapulted that people coming in recruiting Delaware more now is when Eastern Christian was big down here.
Oh yeah, that gave them that notoriety.
When they had Angelo Blackson and David Sills and Jarrell Presley, they had a bunch of guys that were in. Some are still in the league.
Oh, Sills is playing on the Giants as a receiver.
Oh no way!
Yeah,
he was. He still is.
I'm a good country down here.
Yeah, yep, and that because I remember when the guy who took over as their head coach at the time was trying to build it, and what he did was he said there was like no. It was at the time there was like no or one D1 scholarship, and he said there was like what you said. There was a ton of good players. They were trying to get them over to Red Lion Academy. They had them there, and then they opened up that school. Mr. Sills opened up that school for a few years, the fake school, where it was basically they went to a room, but they trained all day, and it produced a lot of Division I players. But what that did was they were kind of the innovators in the sense that it opened the eyes. And a lot of those guys, like I see them because they're on coaching staffs. And I see them in 7-on-7 in the club 7-on-7 circuit. They're running the DE Ducks, like those guys run the DE Ducks,
and they're a dominant team.
And some of those guys play for Middletown and for I don't know how you say it, but Silesium, I guess. Yep, and Smyrna and there's like a bunch of like those clubs now, but that is now. Shown that there are players there. So it's just a matter of year to year what you have, but people now are coming in there recruiting. Now, before that, it was just basically your only Division I scholarships were basically if they went to Delaware or Delaware State, right? If they went FCS, but Delaware also going Division I. Talk about how Delaware going FBS. What kind of is there a buzz among the high school coaches with all that going on?
Well, Dave, and remember, Wesley shut down.
Yeah,
but Wesley was D3, so I mean,
right. But then you had those options. Let me tell. I mean, listen, playing Wesley, that they weren't like they were, tops, whatever. Then they kind of did like something, I believe, with Delaware State. But now, like you said, speak on that because Delaware coming up. I just think that's such a huge thing.
Yeah, it definitely created a buzz here, especially in Dover. I think you'll start to see UD. Really, not that they haven't before, but really put a full court press on their own backyard.
Right.
Here in Delaware, all the top players, and they have in the past. It's just that's going to be like the mission now because now they're going FBS and all
Absolutely.
that. And you'll probably see an increased presence with you guys in Jersey, PA, and Maryland. Because definitely created a big time buzz. They're hoping to keep probably a lot of our best talent home. Because, a lot of kids, not that they don't like UD, they do, they love it. But, I mean, if you're looking to go FBS and you got like Georgia calling you or Penn State, the name, right? But now they think, for whatever reason, draft status, but that's not the case. But now Delaware can say, hey, we're FBS now. That kind of ups the ante a little bit when it comes to keeping, our best talent in the state home.
I think it's a huge deal because first of all, it will increase the number of kids offered in the state. Yes. So in my opinion, that's what will happen. So, they always Delaware was FCS, and they
Yeah.
always offered a certain amount of kids in state. But now that will transition some of those kids to an FBS offer, and you'll have more kids offered in state because some of those, at first Delaware will be a borderline. That Delaware offer will be a borderline FBS offer because where they are, but those will count as FBS offers. And if you could go from 6 to 8 offers a year Division I kids to 15 to 20, that's a big deal. That's a huge deal. And Delaware, in order to win, are going to have at least half those kids stay home, right? That's going to be a big deal.
The Godwins and the Debos and the Jordan McGee's, they all, going to have to stay home, basically. And I think UD really upped their chances of making that happen. I can also tell you a chain reaction that kind of set off here in the state a little bit. Delaware State, obviously, is right here in Dover. They're FCS still.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, they're FCS. So they're not – I haven't heard anything about them going FBS, but here's what they did do after UD's announcement. I just found out they're putting in a referendum to revamp their entire athletic facilities.
There you go.
And it looks beautiful what they have planned. Absolutely beautiful. And right now, they're not top of the line. It's tough to attract recruits.
But at least they're making those attempts to kind of get there, right?
Yes. And I believe that's a what do you call it? A chain reaction off of the UD announcement.
Right.
Well, state money. They're going to have to increase state money, obviously, to Delaware, right? And Delaware State's a state school, and they're an they were HBCU, I believe, right? Or are they still at HBCU?
They still are. Yep.
Yeah. And so, so they're going to increase the state money there. They're not going to match, obviously, because they're going to FBS, but they're going to try to increase the money there so they have a school with a good FCS presence, because you're going to have a school that's now going big time. So I think that you're going to definitely see an increase, and that will hopefully, again, increase the level of talent, and also, talk about a little bit like the kind of coaches you guys are getting. So before Red Lion and the whole, and the guy who ran it was from Jersey originally. So Eastern Christian. Before that, I could tell you, because I ran events everywhere, there were 0 players from Delaware that anybody had any interest in other than FCS, right?
Right.
And almost 0. I mean, occasionally you get one here or there, but there was almost none. And then what I noticed is that, like, there started to become a buzz. And what I've seen now from a coaching standpoint is the Middletown coach Blum, Smyrna, and I saw this over those years. Once that happened, then it became, hey, we don't want our good players going over to Eastern Christian. Like, let's create better get a better situation where we are. And I think that it's kind of interesting how one little thing can wake up a whole community, right? And it took time. It did take time, right? But the ante of coaches, the better coaches coming down there to want to coach, maybe to live maybe a little bit better lifestyle, right? Figuring out where the good players were going and keeping them in their school, right? So they weren't going to a place like that. Figuring out what they needed. Talk about how because you've been down there now 7-8 years, I guess, right?
Yeah, 8 years.
Yeah, that was really when Eastern Christian was at the end, right? And Coach Bloom and you had already started to really talk about what's going on in the coaching community there that has really changed and improved.
There's been a lot of turnover the past couple of years, but I think the one thing as far as exposing our kids is the one thing as a fraternity we all agree upon is we need to band together as one Delaware family and promote all of our kids, no matter who we're coaching or coaching against. I'm very active on Twitter, social media. When I was a Dover head coach, I try to promote as much kids on other teams in this state as possible. And I still do that to this day. I did it when I was at Smyrna. I still do it this year. It's just when college coaches come here to Dover, I tell them, hey, did you see so-and-so up in Smyrna or up in Middletown or up in Slasianum or down at Cape Penelope or Sussex Central or Cesar Rodney or Woodbridge, Lake Forest, what have you, St. George's. I mean, William Penn, we all got dudes that can help any football program, college football program out there. It's just being unison as one, basically. I think with all the turnover that's happened in the state at head coaching spots, a lot of the new head coaches, they install systems that are more college-like. For example, the emergence of the spread offense, down here in Delaware. So I think part of me thinks that, and I don't have any facts to back this up, I'm just spitballing here, but
Yeah.
I think a direct result of us being so under-recruited in the past was we played old school football here.
Right.
Wing
T doesn't really transition to college that well when you're
right.
looking at players wise, which is why you still see some of these guys that are, they can't get out of those, you know what I mean? When they're in those systems, it's really tough for them to get recruited unless they're really one hell of a player.
Right. Now, for me, if I'm a college coach and I'm recruiting Delaware, a dude's a dude. I don't care what system you play in. But, if I had to guess, I would say that has been a reason why. But you've been with the changeover in head coaching spots, you've seen a shift from old school offenses to now the modern day spread. So I think that helps, but the big thing is just us being unison as one coaching fraternity in this state, really promoting our kids all across the board because it's about the kids in the end.
Yeah, we had a bunch of kids from Cape. How do you say Henelopin? Come up in one of our showcases last year.
Yeah,
they're all young kids. They were excellent players.
Yeah,
really.
Quarterback Jamison Tingle, hell of a ball player.
Yes.
And
we had
Mark James, senior this past year.
Yeah,
we were like looking at it, kind of going right. Like Dave, we're like look at all these kids. Like these guys can play some ball. You know what I mean? Like kind of like it's there. Like. How do we see it, right? Like, unless we're running these showcases or these guys are doing that extra stuff, like, you haven't heard about it, right? So now, like you said, if everybody binds, like, kind of hey, check out this kid. Like, maybe we don't have anybody for you right now, but, like, go check out this kid at this school or go see this, right? Like, it's not a selfish thing, right? Like, I'm only going to get my guys recruited. It needs to be everybody collectively because that's what it's all about, like you said.
Yeah. That's what it is. It takes a village, the old saying goes. So, that's something that, any rivalry down here in this state gets put aside for that.
I'll tell you a shift that I've seen too in football in general. And I think, so basketball used to be a sport that was only like all the city kids played basketball. That was it. And I think one of the big shifts in football is that city kids play football now. I think rec programs, like we see it up here, rec programs doing a great job of like, whether it's promoting it or starting programs, which you never had. I mean, 25 years ago, that was not a thing. 20 years ago, that was not a thing. Kids like from the city played basketball. Even New York City, right, has much, they don't have as much space, but they have a lot better football programs. They have all different kind of things. And I noticed in Delaware that was one of the things that I noticed that, the Newcastles, the Dovers, Wilmington started to get those kids playing football, okay, and not just playing basketball, and being able to build facilities that obviously give them a chance to play those sports, right? Talk about that shift because I've seen, and this is more of a northeast thing. Obviously, in the South, in the cities, kids have always played football pretty much. But but in the North, above the Mason-Dixon line, that has not always been a thing. And really, basketball was the king in the inner cities, and that's really shifted a lot. Talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I could speak for here in Dover. We're an urban school district. And, when I was head coach, I always promoted kids playing as many sports as possible. I think it's Mike Tomlin. He has an old saying, right? If your son or daughter isn't playing a sport, the times of 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock p.m. are the most dangerous times for the child. That's after school when they're not playing a sport before you get home as a parent to cook dinner. You don't know what they're doing. So that's why a big reason why I promote many sports, not just football. But hey, if you're a dude, go play basketball, go run track. If you're a muscular guy or stocky looking dude, go wrestle, then go do track. You know what I'm saying? Or lacrosse, whatever. If you're a baseball player, go play baseball. Do a little winter ball if you can, or maybe do winter track and then
Something. Just do something.
Keep busy, man. And I think one of the great things, here at Dover and even at Smyrna, and I'm sure many other schools throughout the state, those other coaches of other sports promote their kids to play football. But I think that's very important here in Dover because there's a lot of distractions, for kids around here. And we want to keep them as busy as possible. But I definitely have noticed an increase in participation when it comes to our sport. Still, I think the best sport in the country. It's entertaining. Kids want to be a part of something special.
Yeah.
And that also, I think, is you also kids I find here in Dover are attracted to who's coaching that sport at that time. They don't want to play for a doofus. They want to play for someone that, they respect and that's important too. But definitely, man, it has to be done around here at Dover, I think. Kids got to be involved as much as possible.
Very cool. It's great to see how the sport is continuing to grow there because there are places where it's not growing. And I think that's important that, great coaches like yourself continue to promote. Coach D, you have technical difficulties?
Bro, I don't know what's going on, dude. I have no idea. Like,
maybe there's too many hats hung up in the back. That might be why.
What you mean, bro? That's important.
It's giving off like some sort of electromagnetic vibe, and
can't even see the important ones. I gotta rework the wall because I changed the room around. I
like your one hat up on the side, the half hat.
Which one? My Sacred Heart. Thank God.
Yeah, I like that.
My half helmet.
That's a good one. I like that. I like the half helmet there. It's really interesting to see. But let's talk about, and we talk about this basically almost on every podcast, unless we had on what's the guy who was the triple option guy? Although we did talk about it with him too, who had us laughing the whole time, but had more jokes going. Who was the coach I'm thinking of? It was we had on the triple option coach. Spread option.
Coach DeMayo. Tony DeMayo. Dude, legend. He was rolling. Yeah,
that's one of his books.
Bro,
I have his books too.
When he coached at Iona, and he had what's his name? Jim Valvano was the coach, and he would Iona. Dude, we could have had like 4 hours of just stories, bro.
You guys should
awesome, though. I mean, it was.
You guys should get Coach DJ Nymphius on your podcast.
There you go. Dave is tied to Coach DJ, man.
Yeah, that's one of my good friends. So
I don't know if he remembers me. I used to sit in on his clinics at Riverdale like every Wednesday. I learned a lot from him. Smart dude, funny too, man. He's an option, that guy.
Yes, he I coached with him twice, and then I was at Riverdale when we 2007 when we won the state championship.
Yeah,
and then
Dave's a Saddlebrook guy originally, bro.
Yeah,
so.
Okay. Yeah, I was the head coach at Saddlebrook right before you probably came.
Maybe a couple years before.
No,
when did you get to
Park in 2006?
When did Luciani take over Elmwood Park?
25.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe we didn't play them that year.
I remember when he took that job. It was
like the guy he took over from was the guy who used to do and now does all the writing for what's that football magazine? Mike Kuchar.
Yeah. X&O Labs.
What's that?
X&O Labs.
Yeah, X&O Labs. That's right. Yeah. Is he still there? Is he still with them?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I saw this description. I love that site.
Yeah. So he was the Elmwood Park coach my first year at Saddlebrook, and then I guess maybe Luciani took over or something. I don't know.
I remember that was just such a big deal. Like he was in Pompton Lakes, was a staple forever, and then all of a sudden he was going to go take over Elmwood Park, who wasn't even relevant for God knows how long. And then it
The
was,
80s.
yeah, it was like, what are we doing? And then he made the jump to Mount Olive, and it was like, whoa, now really, what are we doing? You know?
Yeah.
Coach Luce was just like, search it, baby.
I'm curious, and the transfer portal, if it's had any effect in the recruiting where you guys are. Obviously, up here, had a huge effect.
Wild West.
Yeah, and NIL. Talk
We're
about
catching
that.
up, don't worry.
What's that?
We're catching up. Don't worry. I don't know if
Okay.
you've seen basketball down here in this state, boys basketball, high school, or even girls. It is Wild West is an understatement.
Really?
I'm on Twitter and I see so-and-so has just transferred to, like, Middletown, for example, or I don't want to, I'm not saying Middletown does it.
Right. Well, that's high school. That's high school transferring, right? That's one thing.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing in Delaware. That's been becoming
Really?
a big thing.
Man, it's been like all over my Twitter. I feel like I'm looking at college basketball here.
What about college, like recruiting wise? Have you seen that affect the players getting offers and stuff like that?
Yeah, like with the NIL and stuff with colleges.
Are high school kids being affected? Meaning, like, so New Jersey, I don't know. There's like let's say 50 around 50 kids that gets Division I scholarships every year. In the past, majority of those were high school, and maybe a handful of transfer portal guys. I'm talking about college transfer portal. Now you're probably talking, it's probably like 70-30 on its way to 50-50. So have you seen any of that affect coaches?
I've seen like guys I've coached, or not even coached, but coached against, or just, watch as a fan in the state that are in college now have entered the portal. And, a lot, some have reached out to me, asking for help. And I'm not versed in this portal stuff.
Right.
So,
right.
And, I don't know how college coaches approach that. I mean, if I try to put myself in a college coach's shoes, I want to develop my guys that are already in my program that I've recruited from high school. Not from a transfer portal, but I know they do put an onus on that now. Maybe it's more so at the FBS level than at Division II or FCS. Is there even one in Division III? I'm not even. There is, right? It's like throughout.
Yeah, I mean, you can transfer it at any of the levels. It's just a matter of.
I mean, we've seen it.
What I tell the kids that reach out to me if they're in the portal, you got to have some film of you in college. If you don't have any film, you ain't transfer.
Like, you're not getting there off your high school film.
Yeah, have you seen West high school kids getting recruited? See, it seems like that hasn't really affected them.
It hasn't. No, I still see that. I mean, with the coaching change happening here at Dover, I'm going to assume college recruitment because I've done it before here.
Right.
So I still see the same amount of college coaches come through here recruiting our kids than before. They don't want to have to go to the transfer portal if they don't have to. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure they do. But
we're seeing like the total opposite.
Total opposite.
I mean? Like total opposite for us. I mean, what we're being told is, look, like maybe I'm taking 3-4 high school guys. Everybody else is going to be a trend. So we're seeing our high school guys now, guys that would be FBS guys are now FCS guys. FCS guys are now D2 guys. Like, and now it's just the trend is going down. And it's more of like, hey, if you're really that good, like, and we're telling guys now, like, look, whatever you get, don't matter what it is. If you get something, you got to take it. Like, that's just what it is. Take whatever you can get. And now it's kind of, hey, if you were good enough at that Division II, at that FCS, right, then for those years you build it up. And then look, if you're that good,
transfer,
you can go up. It's the total opposite of what we used to preach in terms of, hey, this is a 4-year decision. This is the school you're going to. Make sure you love it, all that kind of stuff. Now it's like, all right, take what you can get, and then we'll work from there. So,
so maybe I should tweak my answer a little bit because I haven't been a head coach in 3 years, so I don't really talk to college guys like that anymore.
But it's also a trend that maybe, like we've said, just hasn't hit the state because there's not that presence of maybe big time recruits that those guys are coming to get. That would just be my assumption.
That might be what
I've seen.
But
down here so far, to me, it's been business as usual.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I'm about to start talking to college
Well, I
coaches.
mean,
again.
look, and that's why that's why I
Yeah.
want you on the show, buddy. I got to know what's going on in Delaware, my dude. I need,
Those are my good looks, but
yeah, it's brutal. But I mean, look, it's like that's like it's look, it's really kind of crazy because because you're just seeing good players, and we see it all the time. Like, this is an FBS guy, this is an FCS guy, and it's like, sorry, man. Like 3 years ago, you would have been a scholarship a guy, but now this just ain't the way it works anymore. You know? I mean, literally college coaches saying maybe we're taking 3-4 high school guys. Everybody else is going to be a portal guy. And look, it's not just a portal guy that's been on a college roster. It's a portal guy that like, hey, I'm looking for 500 snaps at an FBS program, right? Like somebody that's actually played.
It's trending where I would say it's still 70 high school percent, 30% high schools, but there are schools like Colorado, which you probably have seen, and then some other schools that are going heavy transfer portal, or if they lose, or if they're a new coach coming in, and they feel like they got to turn it around quick. Like Kirby Smart doesn't have to do that.
Nope.
Right. In
those established ones, right?
But you'll find this interesting. Like Ohio State, NIL wise, was given $17 million to try and build an all-star team. $17 million for NIL money.
Like Dion said, like, look, like $50,000. Yeah, maybe that gets you a preferred walk-on. Like, we're talking.
Yeah, I talk in cheek, but yes,
we're talking money.
From what I've seen, I haven't seen anything different down here.
Imagine being a college student getting $100,000.
Yeah.
No.
Let me ask you guys. Let me ask you guys a question. NIL. This is happening in Jersey, correct? With high schools?
Oh yeah.
How is that? Because it hasn't.
So it's actually it's one of the few states that can actually do it high school wise right now. In terms of coaching, like you can't have any part of it. You can't even promote it on your social media. It's all whatever he does. You know what I mean? So like, for example, let's say you have a quarterback, he gets some type of NIL deal, and Dave and I go back and forth about this. It's so funny. Just because like a company says, hey man, we want you to be part of our team. Tell your people to use this code for a 10% discount. Bro, that's not an NIL deal. You know what I mean? Like, you're not getting a check.
But the top running back in New Jersey this year got a very big check to go place. There's a few guys in the state that have to go to different places and had offers to go. So it's not everybody, but there is like even the like if you're a top 10 player in the state, you're probably getting a minimum of $50K to $100K to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the top probably 2 or 3 are probably getting several $100,000 to $500,000 to go.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah, easy.
What am I doing wrong here?
Yeah, listen, bro. Different era, man. Different era, dude. Like,
it's when you have a guy, like when you really have. So if you have a kid that's a Division I kid, that's I don't know.
And we're talking like a no-brainer Division I,
like a 3-star kid. Like he's a Division I kid. Maybe he gets a little bit here or there. Nothing. He's not going to get anything huge. A kid who gets Division I scholarship, but like is not like a guy they have to have.
Like
is a guy they have to have, like a 4-star or 5-star. If you get one of those, like what's the kid who played for Boston College that was from down there? He was a QB. I can't think of his name now, but he was from Dover actually, or maybe he's from Middletown. Might have been Middletown, but that kind of level guy, that guy would get paid. But like if a kid had a Division I, like say Delaware, like Delaware's probably not there yet, but they will. They'll get to the point where they're gonna give money to guys because they're gonna have to in order to compete.
I know it's coming down here. That's insane. You even mentioned like $50K for like a 2 or 3-star kid or something like that. That's crazy.
Right, because you imagine being like a college kid, and now you're just. But I mean, look, you're looking at programs like Rutgers, right, where they have in place like an automatic, hey, if you're on the men's basketball team, the girls basketball, the women's basketball team, or football, like you're getting an automatic, I believe it's like 30 grand a year type NIL thing. Like, and that's pennies, right? Like that's just, but that's just like, hey, you're on the team, so you get this. That's nothing about, hey, I'm an individual, I'm this, I can get this, I can grow to it. I mean, we're talking about, college programs having full-blown departments that are now dedicated to this because it is such a big thing. I mean, we talk about it all the time too. Like, imagine trying to now, you're trying to work your locker room or keep your locker room, but this guy's getting 100K, this guy's getting $500,000, and this guy's getting, 10. Like, how do you work that in within a locker room? You're talking about NFL stuff now trickling down into the college world. It's wild.
Yeah, it's totally a different deal. But yeah, it's if you're and you also have quarterbacks now, quarterbacks and like top tier, potentially kids that are going to end up with like 5 offers. They'll give them quarterbacks. They'll give out. So you'll see a lot of young quarterbacks that'll have offers that are non-committable.
Right.
So they can maintain a relationship with them.
So they can keep them until they can pull that trigger on the real one.
If they're going to pull it. I know a lot of really good quarterbacks that you see that have a lot of offers that are younger. Almost none of them are committable. So they can't even commit to the school if they wanted to. They have that offer. So you'll almost never see a young guy with like 27 with offers. You don't ever see him commit because it's not committable.
It's basically like freshman, sophomore
crazy, man.
type of thing, right? Like freshman, sophomore is kind of like, hey, let's just throw this out there so that, hey, I was the first guy to offer you, right? Like, oh, maybe that keeps the relationship. You keep getting them on campus over and over. Like you said, I mean, look, all these guys, and we talk about clicks, right? Clicks. It's all about social media, marketing yourself, right? Like if now all of a sudden, whether it's committable or not, I can't wait to put on it,
But anyway, Coach, we'll let you run. We don't want to hold you up. It was great. It's great having you on the podcast. We had a great time, man.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Anytime you ever want to come, we'll bring you back. Okay, Coach?
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Bro. Thanks a lot.
All right. Have a great day.
You too, my man.
All right. Bye.
Later, Derek.
Take care, buddy.
Bye.
Wow, that's crazy that's not in that world yet.
Yeah,
dude, it's definitely players.
I don't think they have enough guys off.
That's what I'm saying. It's just players. It's like what I mean.
Number of players, right, that are top tier. Like maybe I'd have to look it up.
Like a couple years ago when Blum had the quarterback that went to South Carolina, right? Like
that's the guy I was thinking of. Didn't he go to BC?
I forget his name. I think he transferred. He might be at Cuse, bro.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I can't remember his damn name.
I know who you're talking about though. That kid would have been
correct.
Gotten something pretty good.
But that's like one.
That's what I was thinking of.
Right?
Blum's kid. Okay. Yeah.
That's like one of
or David Sills back in the day, or Angelo Blackson.
Right. He had his offer. He had his offer in 7th grade from Kiffin.
Right. But that's the interesting thing that I learned. That there's a lot of great players that you see that are younger that have offers that absolutely are not
mean nothing.
So it's like they have those offers, but if they were to turn around and say, I'm coming to that school.
What if they said, hey, I want to go right now?
They can't.
They'd be like,
they would tell them it's not. So what they're basically telling them is
Braden Davis.
That's the quarterback that he had. That was the top tier kid. Okay.
And he is, I'm telling you, I think he's at Syracuse. I think he transferred and he's now at Syracuse. Braden Davis, Syracuse QB.
Okay. So yeah, like he probably is getting something. So
Oh, yeah, I would think so, right?
I mean, that would be one that we would ask. I sent DJ Nymphius a text as Coach mentioned it because I thought, well, maybe we'll see.
Oh, I'd love to talk to him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh God. He'll be like, what's his name, dude? He'll be like Tony DeMeo.
Listen, We don't.
Different, totally different than Tony DeMeo. Totally different. But like, but he would
We
be
don't
like,
discriminate on this podcast, man. We'll bring whoever, like,
yeah, you
bring
guys
the
are on.
juice.
Yeah, no, that was really interesting because I guess if you're in, I'm curious how many kids from Delaware have been offered this year.
Dude, if there's 5. And that's no knock on Delaware.
No.
It's just, come on, dude. You're in a
Well,
state
what's his
where
name at one time had it up to? I mean, I know
there's just not a lot of people.
Coach it was Dwayne. What was Dwayne's last name? I used to call him Coach D. But anyway, he really built it. Built that buzz. Then like Blum and a couple other guys have like gone and ran with it right since then. But I am curious. I'm trying to look it up real quick. Recruiting home. Here we go. Let's see. Player rankings. Let's see if there's any.
Oh, what are you looking at?
I'm just curious if there are. I'm wrong sport here. You go to football. Player search. There we go. That's all I want. All right. Let's see. Let's go to state. Delaware.
Oof.
There we go. All right. Let's go. Get to class.
Well, I mean, hell, it's National Signing Day.
Yeah, tell you. Yeah, have you heard anything? It's
Dude,
so
isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy? Like, this used to be, bro, like Christmas morning. You know what I'm saying?
It's
like,
nothing, dude. It's nothing.
Maybe a guy got one fax, bro.
I mean, you got a fax.
They used to be hovering.
They're not even standing by the fax.
Like, I got it. Oh, coach got his guy. Yeah, here we go. Dude, where is it? I don't see one hat on a table.
No. 2024.
That early signing day crushes this, bro.
Yes, killed it.
Because now all those guys.
It was a great day. I used to go on 7 or 8. It used to be podcast. Now it's podcast, but radio shows. They used to go on 7 or 8 radio shows.
Oh man, because they'd be like, "Hey, what did you think? Oh, I think this kid's a great kid. He's making the right decision."
It was fun. It was fun, dude.
Now it's like, "Hey, my guys,
So here's what Delaware has that have D1 commitments 2024.
There can't be.
All right. And I guess if you count Delaware as a FBS school, you have one.
I get.
They have 4 3-stars. 4 3-stars. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
Okay.
What? Middletown.
Of those kids, it's Woodbridge
and
kid,
another
Middletown, Silesian. Then you got an ODU.
And look at the offers though.
Cape Henlopen, ODU, and then a kid from going to Delaware, a quarterback from Middletown, by the way. So Middletown has 3 of them. They have half the Division 1. So it's 4, 5, 6. 6.
What did you look it up on?
I went to 24/7.
Yeah, because I'm looking at it right now too, right? You got Tristan Graham, edge rusher. Where's he going? Akron. Okay. Ahmad Foster, Solarium or whatever, D lineman. He's going ODU. Right? Ronald Davis, safety. He's going to Buffalo. Now look, we're not saying anything.
The only one that's got a big time offer, group of 4, is Wyatt Wright. He's got NC State. And then, or is he?
And you're looking at 2024s, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at 2024s. Let me see. I mean,
I'm gonna go 2025 right now.
2024. So he signed. He signed with NC State.
Okay, so now look though. You go 2025s.
Yeah.
Right. Let's go. Oh, he signed already.
Yeah.
But I mean, look. Even if you're looking at those guys, right, and you're saying
2025, there's hold on.
But like I said, Dave, if you're looking even at look. ODU just transitioned to an FBS, last year, 2 years ago? So same type of gig.
2025, 0. 0 have offers. 2025. So Here's my here. Coach doesn't realize it, but it has affected them because
'Cause now they're
2024.
not even going.
We didn't see it in 2024. There's 6 kids that went Division I. Okay, legitimately. 2025, there are 0 Delaware kids with offers. 0. Let's look at 2026.
That's where I was going.
Let's see if there's any guys. Now, it doesn't mean the players aren't great because
And it doesn't mean that they won't get one.
No, yeah, it doesn't mean that. But let's see, Delaware 2026. Apply filter.
0. Not 1.
0. Oh wait. A kid. There's one. No, there's 2. Oh no, there's a few. No, they don't have any star rankings yet. So there's 1, 2, 3. Hold on. So BJ Garrett has a bunch of offers. 1.
Really, I don't even see that. That don't even come up on mine.
Yeah. Mari Glover. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 kids with offers. Let me just check 2025 again. Maybe I missed it. 2025. So there were 6 kids with offers in 2026. I'm curious.
That doesn't even come up on mine when I search it.
Really? Yeah.
And I go if I go 247, right? Like you're going.
I was wrong. There's 1 kid with offers. I was wrong. 1.
And I click on the state itself and go top 20, whatever. Maybe if I go 247 sports composite, it'll come up. No,
you
nothing.
see on the side. I'm a 247. So you see, it says number of teams. On the right.
Yeah, like how many football playing schools are actually in Delaware? You know what I'm saying? Like that's the type of stuff we're looking at. And I'm laughing in the chat.
My question is this. So
I'm laughing in the chat too. Coach Alston, he goes, I'm tired of the wing T.
All right, I saw that. 2026 had 6 kids with offers. What happened to me? I'm not in. Oh, here I am. 2026 had 6 kids with. I'm moving around too much. 6 kids with offers, and 2025 has 1. I wonder.
Well, we said, and you said it.
I wonder if
but you also said
the 2026s are committable, and that's why I don't know. I really don't know the answer. I'm guessing. So
maybe though, but like you said, right? It's also one of those things where, like, in Delaware, you would see it really kind of more than anywhere else. Is some years you just don't have the talent like that you have other years, and because there's such a, you know what I mean? Like, I think you see it in Jersey. In terms of years where you have better players, bigger names, things like that, bigger schools, it just comes down to people.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's a fact. You're right. It could be that maybe there isn't. I don't know. It's hard to know.
Look, we gotta get Blum on too. Like,
yeah, we do.
More of a perspective because it looks like if you're a dude from Delaware, it looks like you're coming from Middletown. You know what I'm saying?
There's no doubt.
Which I kind of love because we developed that relationship kind of just like randomly out of the blue. Like, I think is great. And you know what I mean? And he's a great dude. And I look, like Rudy said, like it was a lot of wing T, 2 back. And now you're starting to see the whatever, which, spread and all that kind of stuff, which, yeah, that's going to attract colleges. Because now look, like I don't have a true receiver that's only catching 1 pass in the wing T or whatever. Oh boy. Krautman kicking is on. Here we go. Oh boy. In the chat. Hey Ricky, what's up, buddy?
What's that?
I said Ricky Krautman is in the chat saying, "Hey coaches, what's up, buddy?" He's bringing the juice. He's probably out in his backyard kicking through the woods or something.
No doubt about it. So let's.
But yeah, listen. It's kind of crazy too because Delaware kind of is right around that Maryland, Philly, South Jersey kind of like you're like all in that. And look, Maryland, we know is a hotbed, right? We know the Philly area and kind of South Jersey does their thing. So Delaware kind of just gets like, squished into that area,
No doubt about it. It's very, very, very interesting. Delaware is an interesting place because there are players. I've seen players there, but
Let me see.
kids want to join. All these kids are reaching out that want to join the 7-on-7.
It's hilarious. It is absolutely hilarious.
Like they're not even living. They don't even live in our state.
They have no idea. It's like, bro, like I had a dude yesterday. I think he was from where was he? I think Oklahoma. Coach, can I get on the 7-on-7 team? If you want to get on a flight, bro. I don't know what to tell you, dude. I'm curious to see how many football playing high schools are in Delaware.
I'm not sure.
$37. I think there's 37. It's a 37 maybe.
37.
So 37 total high schools. I mean, come on. How many football playing high schools in Delaware? Schools are placed into 3 districts. Come on, man. Just give me a straight. But you see now, like he said, you're seeing the rise of charter schools, right? So, I mean, look at what Eastern Christian did when they came up for like those whatever, couple years. Yes, we know, Ricky. That's your favorite number, bro. We know.
37. That's usually for guys that are slow.
And it's usually for kickers.
37 is slow for kickers and unathletic.
Ricky, you gotta tell us what your 40 time was if you ever want to let it out of the bag, bro. We know you can kick with the best of them, but how many times you have to listen? He made it very simple, right? Because he just said, you know what? I don't ever want to have to make a tackle. Let me just bang everyone through the end zone, right? It's probably, I think he still has the state record for most touchbacks. So my man was never making tackles. He just banged it through the uprights and on kickoff, and then you like touchback. We're good.
That's so funny.
Very interesting, though, today, bro. Little different perspective from a different state. Look, when we talk to the guys from Florida and we talk to the guys from Georgia, they got a very different perspective than when we're talking to the guys from Delaware,
I think we should wrap it up. It was a really good podcast. I mean, we got some interesting. I definitely learned something new. So, all right, we'll head it out right here. Another good one. We'll see you all soon.
Take care.